Christ's name is Yeshaya. You know, I always got to come on here and, repeat that. That way I can ingrain it into you guys' minds out there. Because this is pertinent information that has been protected for quite some time. So we need to unearth that information and get it out there, you know what I mean? But yeah, how many of you guys out there is staying on course with the Most High? I know it gets hard. Trust you me, I understand. It gets very difficult. And then you'll always have these tests that come along, do everything they can to drop off demonic energy at your doorstep. People that, for whatever reasoning, they just refuse to get out of their ways of ignorance. Just mind-blowing. But that's the world we are in. So, people keep thinking that, we've got all the time in the world. It's funny. They are really like Sodom and Gomorrah. They was eating, drinking, getting married, living it up. Go hard or go home, you know what I mean, on the party scene. Live it up, yeah, And then what happened? Destruction was on the horizon. All because they refused to turn away from their sin and turn back to Christ. We gotta stop downplaying the whole Christ thing. We really need to focus on what he truly did for everybody. Can you imagine allowing yourself to be the sacrifice for the greater good? For not only people that you love, but for people that you probably have hate for or you've had some type of issue with. You know what I'm saying? And then to put all that to the side and to be forgiving and to lay your life down and be the sacrifice for the overall greater good, that needs to be, acknowledged more, I think. When Christ did that, oftentimes people just look at it like, oh, he was crucified. Like, do you understand that process, that agony that he was in, the sweating of the blood before from the nervousness and the anxiousness? But knowing that you got to go through this, even for those who are very undeserving, you got to go through all of this, carrying your own burden, being brutally just beat, and then stabbed when you already can't breathe and you just hanging there, nailed to a tree. You know what I mean? So we owe Christ everything within us, to not to be on no part-time with it, to go all the way hard in the paint area and do this in the manner like in which he did for us. Because he's the only reason why we even got a shot at getting into heaven. Without what he did, that shot is out of there. Because like I said, how many of y'all, me included, are we willing to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good on that scale? That was woo-wee. That was brutal what they did to him. And did it all for us. That's how much we are cherished by the Most High. Most High is a genius on a whole different scale. I don't even see why these evil ones and these fallen deities and all. I don't even understand why they would even want to take the chance like they did to do anything wrong, knowing the repercussions. I be thinking about that a lot. Like, wow, y'all was already up there. You didn't have to go through any of this. But see, beauty of a woman. To where even the angels left their habitation for the beauty of a woman. The woman is a miraculously made person. So, but we all are. But, it's just something about women, though, it is, especially back in them times when it wasn't all this, these toxins and everything put in the food and in the air. When people just generally just used to get just bigger and healthier and stronger. Overall cognition of the brain was way beyond what ours is now. Like even thinking about that, think about Eve when she ate that fruit. And then can you imagine the type of knowledge that she gained in that instant? See, we gotta stop thinking of it in the way we think about things today. Like, she ain't no telling what kind of things she knew or was revealed to her. Probably even heavenly secrets, being that they was created by the hand of God directly. So, these are just some things to think about. This ain't no light subject matter. In fact, it's quite important. Because all throughout the true history and the annals of time, they've laid the groundwork for us. They were examples and showed us how to navigate through this, through the turmoil, the trials and tribulations. And I know we're still human and we're gonna mess up, and we're gonna continue to mess up. But we got to stay on course, do this thing right. Everybody got to start paying attention to this Iran situation too, because that's the true beginning of the end. Once that thing gets kicked off, and prophecy indicates that it will, because those are the areas of the world in which the word is discussing, it's getting ready to get very wicked out here. This year's already been producing a lot of wicked actions, and it's only going to get worse on a scale that is unfathomable. You better know it. You better know it. That's why it blows my mind with all this real stuff going on, but then they'll have wannabe secret agent types following people around. But, I don't know. Or maybe I just got such a unique situation and, a definitive answer will just never be imminent. I don't know. I don't get it. But I know this. I know we better focus on Christ and the Most High. Those better be the main focal points of our day, every day that we got breath in this body. And ask for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and guidance and navigation through the things that are currently happening and the things to come. These things are not far off. Pay attention to that Iran situation. These people in power and, they understand prophecy. They got all these gimmicks in place because, the forces of darkness, they've got a hierarchy too. Set up similarly to that of God's divine hierarchy. Because, Shaitan, Satan, Samael, the devil, he wants to be like the Most High. That's why he does everything like him, but in an opposite way. So, we need to, it's time to get it in order. We got to get it together because time is running out. People are running around here worrying about careers and worrying about things that are pretty much obsolete because AI is taking over, and that's directly attached to a demonic spirit, that AI. So, it's already changing the game out here. You know what I'm saying? It's getting ready to get very evil. Hell, there's a McDonald's in down there in Texas, fully operated by machines. There's no humans worked. I think it was the one in Fort Worth. Completely operated by machines. No human on hand. And that's at a McDonald's. So job security is not what it once was anyway. And then they're keeping everybody distracted with all these felonious stories in the headlines and in the news to keep everybody's attention off of the real things going on. That way, when things kick off in a major way, now you're blindsided. Can't prepare, neutralized as a result. So we got to get hedged under the protection of the Most High. Learn what we can learn, because you can always learn from any and everybody. You just gotta abstract what's needed and what's necessary and what makes sense, and discard all the nonsense. And we really need to start applying that in every aspect of our body. But yeah, this year is, everybody got to get with like minds, start weeding out the Judases. And I'm not saying don't give them a chance, but you got to use discernment in those chances of giving. For real, because you'll be led to the slaughter thinking just because you done grew up with somebody that y'all gonna be on the same page throughout everything that's to come. Everybody's not gonna be mentally strong enough to endure the things that will be taking place, especially those who their every waking moment is about chasing a paper dollar bill of monopoly proportion, when the real money, which is gold and silver and all the other things, onyx, jasper, all these things, oil, uranium, all these things that is about real riches, they done stripped us of and then created some paper concoction, and it indicates money value. Like, man, get out of here. Now they about to transfer that over into digital currency. So it's getting ready to get very extra. People who are doing that and people who get mad when that is said and talked about, hey, you gonna meet hellfire. You can't be holding on to the cares of this life, going through what's getting ready to happen. You got to know when to fold them and when to break camp. You might have to break camp abruptly, but the so-called day ones, they might not want to just up and leave things behind. They want to slow drag. They want to, I got to figure this, that, and the third out. Still thinking carnally instead of thinking, move according to the will of the Spirit. under the direction of the Most High. That's what we need to be doing. And all these people, they got all these bunkers and stocks food for weeks and all this stuff. Nothing's gonna save you like that, especially if you haven't shielded yourself under the protection, the divine protection of the Most High. All that stuff will be obsolete. So we need to remember why we were created. While we're out here just running amok, engaging ourselves in just nonsense, you know what I'm saying? But keep that in mind. Stay prayed up. Stay under the protection of the Most High. Watch who you be around. The Judas experiment is real. And there will be a lot of Judases who will be ready to accept payment under the guise of needing to take care of their family and loved ones to get you to that slaughter ground. That being said, y'all have a fantastic day. Stay away from extra out there. Heed the warnings. Shalom.